good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. I am back with another walking and talking video. Another update on Maribel's life. So lately I've been busy just trying to get all the appointments set up for my baby sister so we can get her the mental help that she needs to help her learn how to process the things that are going on. I've also been in therapy now, like consistently for almost a year. I used to be a very not an advocate to go to therapists because I always felt like they weren't good help. Maybe because I had bad experience with them when I was a kid, how they didn't listen to me. But then again, I was a child with a lot of issues as well, so it's kind of hard for anybody to believe me. But that doesn't mean that the system shouldn't have failed me. I think I just had bad experiences, and there's going to be not so great therapists out there. So if you're looking to get into therapy or help you find, just to dig deeper in what's going on in your mind, I do recommend finding you a therapist that best fits your needs and who's not going to sugarcoat everything. You want a therapist who's going to tell you in a way that feels safe to you, but not just be always on your side. Because even a therapist has to snap you back into reality. Some things are not okay, certain behaviors, but that doesn't mean that they can just tell you, okay, just stop. One thing my therapist told me is, I'm not going to tell you to stop seeing someone or stop doing the things that you're doing, because until you're ready, until you're fully ready to move forward and not repeat this cycle, you're going to continue to stay. So all I can do is help you to learn how to manage those emotions, those reactions, those thoughts in that moment. So you try to make a better decision next time, So even you can make 1,000 mistakes making the same decision that ends up being a very bad habit. And then finally, there's one day where that teaching that someone has taught you or your therapist has taught you finally sets in. Okay, all right. It's time that I take the initiative of what I learned and put it into action. For so long, you just listen. You listen to knowledge. You listen to wisdom. You listen to everybody else and what their opinions are. But until you start putting in those words and those actions into real life or what they told you to do, you'll never move forward. Life is about ups and downs. Failures are about not actually failing, because the most successful people have failed 30,000 times, but they succeeded that one time, and the only thing they remember is that one time that they succeeded, and that's what makes them great. So you have to fail about maybe 100 times, maybe more than 100 times, until you become something. The dog is so cute. But that doesn't mean you continue to make those mistakes because you consciously want to and want to stay stuck. But you know the exact right way to fix it. Like my therapist says, you can't change unless you want to change. Some people make those decisions and they feel safe. That same behavior, that same reaction, that same environment feels safe to you. Safe enough to not leave it. People end up getting comfortable and complacent in how their life is going. So they never decide to move forward. They never decide to get out of their comfort zone. And I think that's one huge, I feel for me is a red flag, is that I love being comfortable. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but then again, it's Comfortability is not my greatest suit. Because every time I've become comfortable, things always go wrong. But every single time I decide to jump and take a leap of faith and know that this is going to be a struggle, but I'm doing it, has always benefited me in the best way possible. But it's that fear of things being different from the normal. People who have been in like very unhealthy relationships finally get in a healthy relationship with someone who loves them. 1 out of 1,000, they're going to make so much mistakes with them because they don't know how to love them or how to receive love, or they take the option to fix those things that are going on. Relationships are not perfect. They're about ups and downs, and they're about compromising. And when you learn to compromise with someone you love, it's not necessarily a risk you're taking, because at the end of the day, it is, but it still benefits you at the end of the day. You still learn how to manage your emotions, manage your relationships, and how to react when things are heated. I've been in relationships where arguments, and it never gets solved. It's like it repeats the same cycle. And it's like, why do I feel like I'm not being heard? And why does this person feel like they're not being heard? What is going on? How can I compromise? And it's just like, you can't compromise with someone who doesn't want to compromise. Someone who doesn't want to change, or not even change, but change with you, move forward with you. It's always going to be the same cycle if the other person doesn't also want to put in work into the relationship. Then you get into a situation where both people want to work on themselves. Both people want to put in that energy to better themselves, not only in the relationship, but outside the relationships, because individuality is important. And I'm just ranting, I'm just saying whatever, so if you want to just hear me yap, stay for the ride. Sometimes I just like to yap. Honestly, it's what I've always done. So, hey, it's either you have me yapping all the time or you have me saying nothing. But when I say nothing, it's because I'm taking information. I love learning. I think that's what makes me great at just yapping, is because I love to learn information and just spill it out to everybody. Anyways, ADHD rant went off topic. 2 people decide to put in the work. You are either going to get someone who ends up thinking, I don't think you're the one for me. And when healthy people decide, hey, I don't think you're the one for me either, but I love you and I care about you and we can go our separate ways. We've made mistakes in our relationship, but that doesn't mean we hinder our friendship. You know, some people in long-term relationships, they still remain friends because that relationship was still a foundation key to who they became. You don't have to always be friends with your exes, but some people are. And sometimes those relationships can get a little sticky, especially when you're getting a new relationship and the other person kind of feels some type of way because you have this very close connection with an ex. And I've been in a situation like that. And I tell you, it's not easy trying to be a grown-up or trying to be like, hey, like, I'm okay with this. Not okay with it, but I know that this person's always going to be a key factor in your life. So I'm going to learn how to be okay with it. I'm going to learn how to manage those because I have insecurities. And when someone who's been cheated on gets into a relationship with someone who has like a great friendship with their exes and they've learned to disconnect that, all these insecurities, like when I tell you my jealousy, my insecurities came up so high in that relationship, rooted in like self-doubt and not enough and all these, and it went deeper than just my previous relationships. It went deeper. It was more like it hit that mother wound of like, scared at any point I'm going to be abandoned for somebody else. And that's where I learned to target those emotions. It's like, where's this coming from? I know it's not them. They're doing everything they can. This person, this woman, is doing everything she can to tell me, hey, I love you. Hey, I'm hanging out with this person. Hey, I'm going to be there and that. Like, and she had a way of communicating with me that nobody ever communicated with me the way she did. Whenever I felt insecure, whenever I would tell her, like, I don't know, I just feel insecure. You're hanging out with this person. And it's like she had a way of just speaking to me of like, okay, and you have the right to feel those emotions. She's like, just reassure you that I love you and I don't want anybody else. And it's just these affirmations or reaffirming affirmations mean so much into a relationship where someone has a wound of trust and insecurity and just self-doubt. It is, and I'm able to speak on this because it's like, there's going to be people out there that you meet that you think are perfect. But we all have wounds. We all have parts of ourselves that we love to hide. But you have to allow someone to see those vulnerable parts in order for you to move past it. Even the ugly parts. And the person who loves you the most is not going to see your ugly parts and run. Some people are going to see the darkest, deepest, most insane parts of you, but decide to be like, okay, I'm not afraid of that part of her, but we're going to work through this part with her. Like, instead of running away, instead of she saw all my imperfections, and was like, you're still beautiful. Your brokenness is beautiful. And I never, ever, ever had a person talk to me or love me the way she has. And it really broke through the foundation of not being enough. And I still have those wounds come up every now and then because those are deep core wounds that were far beyond her time when I was very young. So it's there sometimes, but now I decide to speak on it. Like, hey, today I just feel insecure. Today I just feel ugly. And you have moments. You're not always going to feel beautiful. You're not always going to feel perfect. And those are the times where you lean on the people who love you the most, who can reassure you, or you take time to reassure yourself. In no way is you having people or not having people, does that deter the fact that you can't love yourself. Because we need community with love. And I was always a person like, I'm good by myself. I don't need nobody. And it's because I always had to do everything alone that I never needed to need nobody. But then when you meet your community that just feels like the foundation of love, and no matter what you do, no matter where you go, they will always be in your life because they love you. They love you without bounds, without distance, that they will always be a part of you. And that is very rare to find in this life. But you got to hold on to those people who love you like family. And then create your own family. If you had a crappy family, create new ones. Friends become family. Relationships become family. Like, build your own family. Anyways, my yapping went to 38 different things and 38 different topics in my life. Again, the update on my life is I'm just trying to find placement for my sister, but I'm very I like to do my research on where she's going and where she's at and if she's safe and just all that, even though sometimes my emotions are high, I'm not always in the great mood because sometimes I take what she does personally. I know it's not personal. I know that has to do with something with her, a deeper one that she has to work through. But I'm human. And sometimes we're going to take things personal in a way that we feel like, okay, why are you doing this to me? And that's something that I have to work through because I know it's not because of me. I know those wounds are run deeper than beyond me. And some things, maybe they are. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I was a 20-year-old with a kid who I've never been a parent, but I've raised my siblings, but I never gave birth. I never took the time to plan this. It just came. And at the time when I got them, I had my own issues. I had drinking issues. I had drug use issues. I had so many demons in my closet that I hid from them that they didn't know about. And I also got clean for them because I felt like they needed someone who was present and who was sober. And there was times that I messed up. There was times where I showed a bunch of, unhealthy habits in front of them. Because not only was I raising them, but they were watching me grow too. And I was watching them grow. And in that place of a house of chaos, because we had good moments, but there was a lot of bad because we all didn't know how to communicate, including me. Struggled with it so bad, setting boundaries, communicating. The kids struggled with it too. We all came from a mother who never spoke on anything. Just anytime bad things would happen, there was no apology. There was just, you want food? That was it. There was no speaking about your emotions or processing anything. It was just not talking about it. And I think for the longest, it hurt me and my siblings a lot. So now I'm able to set my boundaries and what I want and what I need. And that I can't say that there's not times where sometimes I let my boundaries be overstepped because I have a problem with people pleasing a lot. That's still something I'm working through. It's a lifelong journey to undo people pleasing. You have no clue. Because you go from like, oh, you're this nice person, you do everything for me, to like, oh, why aren't you doing everything for me? It's like, because I don't feel like it. I never felt like it. I did it because I thought like it would make you happy. But that also can be like, in a way, can come off selfish, self-absorbed. But because you're not people pleasing about certain things that you just don't feel comfortable doing. Now that doesn't mean that you cannot do things that your partner enjoys or your friendships enjoy, because sometimes when you're trying to figure out yourself and figure out boundaries, sometimes you start being absent and those hinder your relationships. But you're trying to figure yourself out. There's been times where I've been absent and ghosty and I don't know where I'm going because I'm just trying to figure myself out. Like my mind, what I want. Sometimes I do hurt my friends' feelings because I'm not there, and sometimes I have to just be like, hey, I'm sorry that I wasn't in that moment with you. I just disconnected. But anyways, relationships are built on ups and downs. Great relationships have arguments. Long-lasting relationships, work through them. Pick and choose your battles. Anyways, love y'all. It's been a long talk. And I'll talk to you guys on another day of an update with my life. Peace.